This is a Jutte here. Sometimes it's spelled Jitte or Jutte, and Ju is 10, Te, as in karate, is hands. They nicknamed that because it has the power of 5 men or 10 hands. So the Jutte was used basically in the Edo period. It wasn't a battlefield weapon because it wasn't sharp and it wasn't really heavy, but this one's made of iron. This one is from the Edo period, and it's very, very old. As you can see, it's just a piece of, I don't know if it's pig iron here, and it's just locked in there. Very crude, very strong, and it just has one tine called a kagi here, this hook. There are many shapes and sizes. I'll show you a couple of these. They probably evolved from other different weapons. The habiki could be something like that. The sai from China. All these things kind of melt over time and become different types of weapons depending on what you need. These were often used in castles where you couldn't have swords. They were also used by officers, officials, and if you had someone like this one here, it might have a tassel on it. This is another type of Jutte here, and as you can see, the tine or the kagi on here is much wider. Could these catch swords? Possibly, but in our martial art practice we do here, we're doing the Jutte right now here at the dojo for a couple months. We rotate weapons every couple months. We just finished with the sword, and now we're doing the Jutte for a while, probably all spring. It's not really meant for catching swords because it's so narrow, and if you miss, your fingers are going to be cut off. The sai is much, much better. But you could block, of course dodge, and then catch the blade on the downside. You wouldn't want to catch it in the air. It'd be very hard to do. But if the blade can go by and you can bash the blade, or of course the opponent, this is meant to hit more than anything, you could catch the blade afterwards and manipulate it or pin the guy to the ground to arrest him, as police officers would do in the Edo period. Here's another type here. It's called kabuto wari, or helmet crusher here. This is a bit more battlefield ready. You can see it has a curve to it to catch the sword a little bit better. The hook is smaller here. You could pry into someone's helmet with this, into their armor. You could catch uniforms. Here's a very unusual Jutte with 3 different prongs on it. Very unusual. This one I really like, but it would be hard to put on your belt because you'd be stabbing yourself left and right in the stomach. But I like the idea of having 3 prongs on here. This one's from Japan as well, because you're 3 times more likely to catch that sword, if at all. But this would be nasty to get in your eye or hook in your nose. And the Jutte itself was used many times in kind of jujitsu, again, against people in castles who couldn't have a sword. So you could manipulate these. This is a training one here that's plastic from shinobi gear that you can get. This is sometimes what we use in class. You can really hit each other and you're not going to hurt each other. But we also use these in class. We're just very, very careful because if you get hit with that, it's going to break your finger. But these could be used with taijutsu as well. Any weapon can. Again, if you saw someone with that, it was official business. They were a police officer or some sort of guard or something, and they could arrest you just by pointing this at you. But imagine getting that in your ear or smacked over the head or breaking your arm or something like that. This is a nasty little offensive and defensive weapon of the samurai, the Jutte. A very unusual baton or truncheon with the power of 10 hands.